Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gray Situations podcast, where a group of totally unqualified individuals discuss hypothetical situations and a different global issue every episode. Today's global issue is climate change. I am Cameron.
I'm Holly.
I'm Eric.
Laro.
I'm Ace.
And I'm Felix.
Do we want to get going with the first hypothetical situation? Eric?
Oh, I'll go first. All right. So for my situation, it starts off with you and your fellow astronaut, who is also your brother, who have just returned from an expedition from the moon. But just as you are about to enter Earth's atmosphere, your brother discovers a leak in the ship. And the computer on board calculates that there is only a 10% chance that you can both survive and arrive alive on Earth. But if not, you will both suffocate. And however, if there are only one passenger, he would survive 100% for sure. So your brother is older than you, and he says that he is fine with dying here in the ship, but does not want to be thrown into space, as he would like his body to be buried with his parents back on Earth. There are no weapons on board, so the only option to kill your brother is with your bare hands. He leaves the choice up to you and to decide whether you want to gamble it or not. So do you take the 10% chance or do you listen to your brother and kill him?
Do you find this?
Wouldn't it be kind of hard to kill with your bare hands?
You can choke him to death. I guess that's what he's proposing.
Yeah, there's no weapons that you can really use. You have to use your hands. And plus, the brother is the one who's like giving off this idea. So he's willing to be choked.
Why?
What do
It's
you
the
mean
worst
why?
part that you have to do with your bare hands.
Yeah, you have to do it like for a period of time. You have to watch your brother die as you choke him to death.
If you close your eyes,
But-
Yeah,
not a big deal.
but the thing is, you already got consent from your brother to do it.
And if you don't do it, it's very likely that both of you will die. So
Exactly.
I think for the sake of not just your brother, because your brother wants you to live, right? But you also want to make it back home for your parents, because it'll be terrible for them if both of their children die, and so it's probably the right choice
He
to
knows.
kill your brother.
He knows something. He wants his body back on Earth, which means maybe he knows about some reviving technology.
No, he wants his body back on Earth just so that it could be buried on Earth and not just tossed into space and lost.
Wait, I have a question. Why
Yeah.
can't you just? What makes the survival change based on how many people are there?
Because they're running out
It
of
could
oxygen.
be the oxygen, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not enough oxygen for two people to make it all the way, but if you kill one, then there's enough.
I guess
I would probably do what he
I'd
wants.
distract him and then beat him to death.
With
Or
what?
like in the movies when they have like one rock. I don't know. There's probably like heavy equipment around there somewhere.
Well, but he consented to it, so you don't have to like sneak attack him. You can just
Well, it'd make me feel better. You know?
what that you kill your brother without him like
Yeah.
noticing.
Yeah.
I mean, like you should at least let him have his final moments, right?
Right, okay, so like
Look behind
if
you,
do,
huh?
if you do kill your brother, and once you're back on Earth, you know that everybody will like suspect you that like you killed your brother only to save yourself. However, that's not the real reason.
I'd say
So
you should video record him
recording
consenting
device.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
true. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
make him sign
Is the-
something.
Like they're on a what
Was
is
that-
it? Like a
wow, that's-
spacecraft? What are they on?
Technology's not
it's just a
advanced enough to
spacecraft.
record.
So they can go to space, but they can't record.
I know.
So you're going
Yes.
to record your brother saying, "Yes, my little brother can kill me."
Yeah.
Yeah, or like
Alright.
You should record like the whole process. You should record the whole process, anyways, so that you know you have like footage of your brother not struggling against you, just to prove that he did fully consent.
Well,
You
how
want a
would-
recording, saved
Like,
recording
how,
of you
how would
killing
your
your
how
brother?
would your like parents feel?
No, you
After
don't
you-
show the
you
whole
come
thing.
back.
You only show the part where
I know,
you're
I
actually
know,
killing him.
but you tell your parents this, right? Saying that I had to kill my brother in order to save myself, but my
you
brother
word
said
it as
yes.
your brother sacrificed himself
Yeah,
for me to
He was
live. You
beaten to
word it
death
like
by
that.
an alien who came on board while we were
Oh, you know what? The brother could actually kill himself. He could just choke himself to death. Like he could stuff a piece of
No,
cloth or
like
something.
your body
I-
won't let
I
you
don't-
do
yeah,
that.
Oh, really?
you will first faint before you could actually kill yourself.
Or
No, I
why
mean
not?
like stuff a piece
Like
of cloth or something
why
down
not
your throat so you
die
can't
in-
breathe.
die from suffocation in space and get his body back.
Because
Because
it'll like get damaged.
yeah,
I don't think
It'll
that's
Also-
be
possible.
intact.
Well, I mean, even if he what if because if you open the airlock, right? Then is oxygen wasted in that case?
You tie a rope to his waist, throw him out the window,
just,
and then pull him back in.
Yeah, that's kind of I feel like
that
the
seems like
brother
he would
would
burn up
I
on
feel like
re-entry.
I feel like the
No,
brother
you
would
pull him
will be
back in before
disintegrated.
you start re-entering.
but I feel like he would prefer if his own brother killed him compared to him dying to space.
Well, you are killing him. You're throwing out the window of a moving vehicle that's in outer space.
Okay, so like we're all agreeing that the 10% chance it shouldn't be taken. It's
It's
too
too
And
tiny,
also,
low.
right?
he's consenting
low.
to dying. So,
So then like okay, so what if
in a
the
power
10%
move,
chance,
throw myself out of the airlock.
what if the 10% chance were to be a little higher? Like what is the percentage that you think you'll like actually take into?
Probably like 25% or higher. I would take the chance.
I was
Probably
gonna
like
say 50.
It's
I
still
feel like
quite
50.
low.
50%, no.
50?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a 50% chance of whether two people die or one person survives. Or wait, no one survives.
Once it gets to 25% for me, I would risk it.
Huh. All right. Well, I think we should do like the round table thing where we each say what we would do in this situation and then move
Well,
on.
we already know what everyone's gonna
Yeah,
do,
I
right?
think we
What about Holly?
decided.
Me?
Yes.
Yes.
You, a member of this
Well-
discussion.
Well, it's hard because if you're in space, can you still go to jail for murdering someone even if they consented to it?
I feel like that's out of federal jurisdiction. So
But you still murdered someone. And if it's like an American spaceship, isn't that still considered American
Where does it say
soil?
it's American?
Well, if
that
it's
seems like
any
a very
country's
American
spaceship.
viewpoint. Hmm.
Could you possibly get out of it if your brother fakes like attacking you and you kill him in self-defense, even though he's like not actually gonna attack you, he just does it so that you can kill him without getting arrested?
Okay. What?
Yes,
What?
that's
Why?
possible.
Is there CCTV on the air camera?
No, because like if you go back and there's just a dead body, right? They're gonna examine the body and they're gonna realize that the person died of choking. And so, of course, the only person that could have choked him to death is the only person left alive in the ship. And so therefore you kill him.
The other alternative is for you to actually kill him, but make it look like an accident as well. But I think that's even more
Yeah, that's
more
even worse because
unethical.
then
Oh,
they're
dang it,
gonna
I
find out
tripped.
and then yeah, I tripped in space, guys.
I tripped in this knife just happened to be jammed into his chest 6 times. I'm real sorry about that. My bad.
So I think the best option is to what like
Have
record
him
your
fake
brother
attack you or
have
something.
no,
Yeah.
just like give consent, right?
Give
Record
give
his-
Why don't
consent
they
and
record
yeah,
give
but if
consent and fake attack? I don't think that
because
I
no,
don't
but
think
like
that would
if
be
you give consent, right? I think that still counts as like murder. Like you have to go to jail for that, even though he gave consent.
Isn't there this whole thing that if you help someone commit suicide, you're still murdering that person or you're encouraging suicide, which you can get arrested for and go to jail for?
There's like laws for that. Hold on.
But I feel like there
Yeah.
have been situations before where people are trying to survive and this kind of thing happens and no one is arrested for that.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
Alright.
out what the laws are called. I don't
Assisted
think it matters.
suicide laws.
Should we move on to the next
Yeah.
situation?
All right.
Okay. So the next situation is you find yourself in this scenario where you need to get information off of a coworker's computer when they're not in your office building. And you know you're not supposed to access other people's computers, but this coworker is a friend of yours and has shared their password with you in the past. Basically, when you log into this computer, you discover that the coworker has been saving customers' credit card data on the computer, which is a violation of your company policy, and you suspect that the information may be being used for identity theft or credit card fraud. Basically, it goes against all the ethics that your company says, and the ethics say that if you find a violation, you need to report the violation. But if you turn in your coworker for keeping hold of this credit card data, then you're also exposing yourself for violating company policy of opening someone else's computer. Who do you owe your loyalty to? Your coworker, the company, or the customers?
Well, there's so many choices in that. Or no, so many factors.
Blackmail the coworker.
I mean, your coworker is committing credit card fraud. That's
I
pretty
don't think,
bad.
yeah, I don't think you're gonna get in trouble for exposing the fact that
And-
there's credit
and-
card fraud.
But
And you
it's
probably had
against
a
the
justified
company.
reason to
Yeah,
check whatever like was on the computer. You needed it for something, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
I feel like in that situation,
your
whenever
friend.
punished.
Yeah, but
they're
your friend
also-
committed to credit card fraud.
They're not your friend anymore after
Identity
that.
theft is a horrible, horrible crime. It's like the Japanese guy who memorized everybody's credit
Yeah,
card
but that was
number.
just kind of cool.
What? But
It
it's
was-
still bad.
yeah,
You're
it was
robbing
bad.
people.
But the method was really cool.
Are you
Are you-
promoting?
Are you giving
theft?
respect to the guy,
you-
or like?
Are
I
you
mean-
promoting theft days?
No, I'm saying the crime is bad, but the method of the crime is pretty cool.
So if you kill somebody in a really radical way, like a really sick, like awesome way.
That's
The murder is
literally
pretty
like
cool.
It's bad. Like,
all
you
action
shouldn't do that.
movies.
So back to the hypothetical, I feel like whatever punishment you're gonna get for looking on the computer is a lot less than whatever punishment the person received
Yeah.
for credit card fraud and
I
stealing
would just-
people's personal details.
Yeah, I would just say the truth and like I'd say, yeah, I checked their computer, and then
Yeah, that's true. Because
this bad stuff.
if people ever find out about it and they see that you actually accessed this computer and they see that you've like found out about his theft or whatever a long time ago and you didn't tell anyone, people might suspect that you worked with him on the theft, and so you could get charged with the same crimes.
And also, your friend shared their password to you, so technically they're telling you that yes, you're allowed to access my computer.
So
But
I
the
would
company
turn them in.
says you can't access the computer because
Well,
it's a
screw
company,
the company.
computer.
Save people's money. Save innocent people's money.
The worst that could happen is you get fired. And you just
Yeah.
get another
'Cause
job.
if you don't say it and like an investigation happens, they will find out that you knew about his theft and stuff, and so you're gonna be linked with him and you'll get charges much worse than just getting fired from the company.
In this situation, I don't know. You owe your loyalty to the people who are the victims in this scenario. So the guys who's like the folks whose info is on your friend's computer. It's not like corporation loyalty to the people who are being.
Wait, but we also don't know if your friend is actually doing credit card fraud or identity theft.
Why does he
It's-
have
you just
a Word
suspect it.
doc of credit card numbers and personal details? Why
There
does he
could
have
be a
50?
valid explanation. I think you should first ask your friend.
Okay, name one valid explanation that would explain having incriminating credit card fraud evidence on the computer that does not involve credit card fraud.
I do not know,
These people who are
but I
crime
think you
frauding
should
are
still
bad
ask
people.
the friend.
It's like a Robin Hood kind of deal.
Yeah.
Google all of the names.
I just
See
wanted to
if
make
it's
sure not to
anybody-
forget them,
This is their credit card number so that I can call them.
or just in case they forget, they can just tell me and I could show them.
If the crime was victimless and the only real like loser in the situation was the company, would you still report it?
No.
But you could get punished for it as well if you don't report it. Because if you report it to the company, they're definitely gonna like reward you, and you're basically turning in someone that committed a crime.
Turning in your friend who hurt nobody except for the mega company.
But you could get yourself into trouble as well.
It's the Edward Snowden.
With these
thing.
types of scenarios, the best possible solution is for you to just have
Well, wait,
not
how do they
seen
know
that
that
information.
you
But
logged
it's
into their
too bad.
computer? Because you used their information, right?
Right?
Well, dude, there's
Yeah.
cameras in the freaking building as well. They know who logged into what computer.
And if you found the data, you're in the computer. You can't find the data without being in the computer
But how do they know that you found it?
because you're the one telling
I
them
reported
that you
it.
found
But
it.
I mean, if
Yeah,
you don't
you
report it
reported
and they
it.
find out how they know that you found this information to report it.
Because there's cameras.
But can
They
the
could
cameras
probably see your screen.
I don't think they can. Have you seen cameras like in regular buildings? They can't see anything.
Yeah, it's if the cameras could see what was on the guy's screen,
Then you're screwed.
He would have been
found
screwed a
out
long time
about
ago.
before now. Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
But
What if he just
what if
accesses
the
the account at
documents
home?
just open on the computer?
Like, who leaves documents that are exposing that you're committing a crime against the company you work for at that company
All right,
just
guys.
open on your computer?
All right, guys,
But
gonna
no
go to
one's
the
allowed to
bathroom.
log
Gonna
into
leave
your
very sensitive
computer.
information open.
It says you need to
don't
log into
think
the computer in the
anyone's
first
going to
place.
get it. Yeah, you need to log in into the computer, and no one's going to. You don't have any reason to believe people are going to log into your computer because it's against company policy. So you
But-
can leave anything you want open.
Except you did just tell your friend that your password and information about your computer.
He could have told his friend his password, and it says in the past, so it wasn't recently. Could have been before identity fraud was taking place.
And he didn't bother to change his password.
That's kind of stupid of him.
Very
Maybe he
amateur.
forgot that he gave his password to people.
Maybe he forgot that he was doing credit card fraud.
You forgot. I don't think you would be able to forget something like that.
But if he's if he's put into investigation and
Why
he
would you
just
need to
says
be
that
looking at your coworker's computer?
to get
Because
information,
there's information you need.
Like what? Like who asked you to get
Like
this information?
Your coworker is sick on this day, but you need the information now in order to complete your work.
Well,
so
first of all,
why
I
not
either ask
ask
them
the coworker
or I
first?
just say that's too bad. I can't do anything and not do it.
Well, that is true. Yeah,
What if you were
Because
set a
it's not-
deadline of
it's
like
not your
2
fault that you
hours
Yeah,
couldn't.
it's not
later?
your fault. Like in order to do it, you have to break company policy. So that's not really your problem.
So just don't do it in the first place.
So mine is going to be a very it's not going to be super specific. We're not going to get into a bunch of detail, but it's just if you had a problem that was being exacerbated by doing a certain thing, like this is on a global scale, so think like, I don't know, like pollution. Would you cause more pollution to get money to stop pollution, knowing that it would worsen the scenario? Would that be on the table? Do you kind of understand where I'm going with this?
It depends on
No.
how much money and how much pollution there is.
I guess in the long run, yeah, right?
So like, depending on how much money you're making from that, I guess you could really make a big difference. Because what if you use the money you earn from creating that pollution to start like a electric car company or like a solar energy company or something like that, and in the long term you end up doing more good than harm than compared to if you just didn't create any of that pollution to begin with.
Like if the situation kept going, then it would have ended up worse in the long run.
Wait, I don't understand the situation still.
If something is happening and it's getting worse, would you contribute to that situation getting worse if it meant you had a chance to fix it?
Yeah.
If no one else is gonna fix it, then yeah, you would have to take that chance.
What if there are ways you could fix it without doing that? Would you still? But this one's like
Depends on
the
well,
easiest available.
Is there like a specific scenario that you could think of?
yeah.
Well, it would kind of step all over Holly's thing of climate change. Do I have permission to talk about it?
Yeah,
I was asking
I'll
Holly.
say so.
Yeah.
Okay, so Justin Trudeau a couple years ago, despite saying that he would not do it, approved a second oil pipeline in a particular region in order to get oil out of the ground. And this angered the climate activists that he had promised he would, to whom he had promised the ceasing of the construction of that pipeline. So that's him making the situation worse. Oil pipelines create a lot of pollution and a lot of things that would affect the climate, and it's also just pulling more fossil fuels out of the ground. But what happened with Trudeau was that he had an explanation for it, which was that the money that came from that pipeline was going to go towards creating a more sustainable future.
Well, did it work?
I don't know.
It's
only
not the
been
future
like
yet.
2 years. Yeah, it's only been
Now,
like
how
2
long has he
years.
been? Oh, 2 years. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the real world example of this that I was trying to avoid talking about, because it kind of gives a lot of detail, and that's actually a real thing that happened. So in that situation, do you think he's justified, whether or not it works?
I'd say yeah, I guess.
Move on to the next one if you want.
Yeah, there wasn't too much argument.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next one. So, here's the scenario. One day, the world gets infected with a deadly virus, which infects the brain and starts killing off millions upon millions of people. Scientists all over the world are trying to find a cure, but nothing works. One day, when you and your 8-year-old daughter goes to the hospital to check if you're infected, the doctor finds out your child is immune to the virus. In order to create a cure, the doctors must extract your child's brain and use it to replicate and create doses of the cure. There's no other way to get the cure, and there's no one else on earth who is immune to the virus. Your daughter begs you to not let the doctors go on with the procedure because she doesn't want to die, but you know it's the only way to save the world. Do you sacrifice your own child to save people you don't even know, or do you spare her life but live on knowing the world is slowly dying?
Is this The Last of Us?
It's similar
Yeah,
to
it sounds
that.
like The
I
Last
based
of
it
Us.
off of that.
It
Yeah.
really sounds like it.
Like halfway through writing this, I'm like, that does sound like Last of Us.
I think we're the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few group. So I think, yeah.
I feel like none of us are qualified to answer this kind of question because none of us are parents.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well. This has got to be like the worst possible thing you can ask a parent to do ever, to kill their own child.
From like a point of view of a parent, would we do it? Like,
If I was a
If
parent, no,
yeah.
there's no way I would ever do that. Like, there's zero chance. Even though people are dying, I physically cannot bring myself to do that.
it's like if you
Like,
know like the
But the
human
thing
race
is,
will
yeah,
disappear, then
I know, but
like you
like,
kind of no
if you
choice.
know that everyone is slowly dying, that also includes yourself and your daughter. So eventually, you and your daughter will still die, right?
Well, she won't.
She won't die, but
Oh,
she's
oh
alone.
yes, because she's immune.
Yeah, but she's
Yes,
alone then.
she will be alone.
Actually, she'll be able to repopulate the Earth with
With who?
more people who are
Well,
immune.
but there's no one else that is immune. Oh wait,
Yeah, but
I guess no.
she can
If
still
she,
pass on the immune
I guess if
gene.
she like reproduces with someone else, their
She is
offspring will
8
be
years old.
immune.
She's 8 years old.
Yeah, I know. Like when she
And you
grows
can
up.
start having
There's no
kids when
time.
you're 12. That doesn't mean it's ethically correct, but you can still have kids young.
When you're
I
12.
feel like
Yeah, you
feel like-
can.
I feel like a parent in that situation would cling on to any possible hope that their child can like keep living and reproduce and stuff like that. I don't.
But
I
in
don't know.
this situation, that's the only way. You know, there's no other way. Like if you know that like the human race will go extinct, then like it would be pretty, like both options would suck basically. But
Well, maybe it's natural for the human race to go extinct.
Yeah, it's true.
Either way, that's saving. It's either saving or killing like 7 billion people.
All right, I went and asked my parents if they would kill me.
Oh my god.
And
They said they would have to have no knowledge of it in order for it to work. Like they would not be able to say, yeah,
it's like,
Yeah,
if it
Go
just
ahead.
kind of
that's
happens,
exactly what I'm saying.
yeah.
You cannot a parent. I don't think any like good parent would be able to physically say yes, you can kill my child.
My
to-
dad said the world's not that important.
Oh,
Which is,
Yeah.
dang.
So I feel like in this scenario, if I was the parent, I would have to tell the doctors for them to make the choice. I would only say you make the choice for me and then leave because I cannot like it's impossible for me to say, okay, you can go ahead and do that. It's not happening.
But
There's
then
no possible.
the doctors just have this conversation we're having now. And then what?
Yeah.
They'll do it. It's not their child. They'll do it because they're saving the entire world. They will do
Oh,
it.
we'll do
But
it. Hey, we're gonna do it. Hey.
dude, it's not their child. It's a child,
So-
sure, but they're saving like a billion other children by doing this.
I just asked my mum, and she said if it was a choice between me and my brother, she'd probably do it. But there would have to be a lot of proof to make sure that it actually was going to happen.
oh yeah. Is there a chance even if the doctors do it, the cure isn't like exactly working as intended?
I feel like if you did put a percentage chance of the cure failing, the parent would not do it in any way. They would
Yeah.
not agree to it at all.
Like anything below
Even if it was
100%.
like even if it was like 99% chance of the cure working, the parent would not be able to take that 1%
How do
chance
you
of it
determine
failing.
that chance anyway?
I
Who
guess
knows?
the doctors have to give a chance, like
Yeah. How do they give like
because the
where's it come from?
doctors themselves they can't guarantee if it works or not.
Yeah.
Like there's never 100% guarantee.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
never been done before, right? So
Yeah,
like
that's true.
in theory, everything should work, right? But because it's not tested on and hasn't been replicated before, there's always that little bit of like uncertainty.
How do we know that the doctors haven't been infected with the virus and it's messing with their brain?
Hey, that goes too much.
Yeah. I feel like that goes too far out of the hypothetical situation.
It'd be really like it wouldn't be funny, but it'd be kind of funny if somebody left, went to go ask their parents, and came back and said, "Yeah, my parents said they do it themselves."
Oh my god. I don't think they'd be able to live with that.
Oh, you never know.
Definitely not.
Okay, moving on to the next situation.
That was,
Yes.
That was
definitely one.
fun.
I love
That
that
was nice.
conversation.
Okay, this
Very
one's a
uplifting.
strange. This one's a strange one. Your friend's cat gets killed in an accident, and your friend once heard that cat meat is delicious and tasty, and so your friend like cuts up, prepares the cat, and cooks it and eats it. And your friend says it was delicious and doesn't regret it at all. And your friend suffered no health effects and they didn't harm anybody. Like basically everything was fine. So would it be morally right or wrong? Like should that be condemned?
Forget
Even though it's
morals.
technically not hurting anybody.
Stop being friends with that guy. He seems like a weirdo.
He ate his
It's
own
fine.
pet.
Oh,
Who like
good
let's
lord.
say
Right,
you
right, yeah,
have a
like-
dog, right? Like your dog gets hit by a car, you're like, well, time to eat it. No.
Been preparing
That's
myself.
weird.
for this
That's the
day.
thing. Like emotionally, it's like wow, that's really messed up. But then you think about it, it's like okay, the cat was already got killed, and then the guy himself, like he's suffered no health effects, and like no one else got affected by it. He didn't hurt anybody.
But still, I
I-
feel like
That's
that's
the weird
disrespecting
part.
the cat. I feel like it's
I also feel like
disrespecting
it says a
Well,
lot about
wait,
him
wait,
as a
wait.
person.
Cats, they've talked about this before. Like if you die, your cat will wait like 3 days before it starts eating you.
But that's an animal. You're comparing
So what?
yourself to a literal cat.
So like
But the thing is like
That's it's like
the disrespecting your cat thing. That's like
your cat would do it to
emotion.
you. Like cats don't care.
no, but isn't that like a survival instinct that's built into
Yeah,
their brain? I know dogs or it's some other animal like what if their baby comes out and it's dead, they'll eat it.
But I'm pretty sure cats don't have like religion, so they don't really care how you get rid of their body. Like they're dead.
Yeah, there's the thing like,
Cool.
oh, it's
For
really
me, it's messed up.
disrespectful, man. But then that's just kind of
Do
But
cats
there's no
even have
need to eat the
respect?
cat.
Yeah,
It's
I
not like you're
also
running
feel
out of
like
food. If
I
it was
feel
a
like
survival, you go on ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Okay. I feel like if the person was like in a survival situation and he didn't have food, then yeah, I would be okay with that. But straight up eating it just for the fun of it is like, yeah, I want to taste what cat meat tastes
well
like.
because
No.
it's delicious.
Okay, but you can eat someone else. It's like you can probably find a place that sells that meat instead of eating your own pet that you've had for a
Well,
long time.
I think cat's like illegal in a bunch of places.
Then don't eat it. It can't be that delicious.
That's
Like
not
there's
the problem. Like he already ate it. Okay, your friend already ate it. There's no stopping your friend.
I feel like it says a lot more about like I don't really like sure it's disrespectful, but the cat doesn't really care. But I also feel like it says a lot about this particular hypothetical guy if his cat dies and the first thing he thinks about is yummy.
yummy in my tummy.
Like I feel like he might push you in front of a moving train just to see what would happen. So
He's like, hey, I heard that people can die from falling off a 5-story building.
you'll notice we're 5 stories up.
What a coincidence that there's no railings on this balcony.
Oh my gosh, is that a extremely rare
So-
bird? You might have to go to the edge to see it. Please.
So
Hurry up.
Ace says it's fine, and then the rest says it's not.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fine.
It-
No.
I
Who
would
sa- who thinks
immediately
it's-
unfriend this guy. I would
thinks
I
it's,
would
like-
separate myself.
Who thinks it's like moral?
I think it's yeah.
I just think it's
I don't see a problem with
weird.
it. It's weird. It's like
So would you condemn him for being immoral and cruel?
no, I'd say like that's kind of weird. Why'd you do that? And he's like, it was tasted pretty good.
Kinda
Yeah.
weird.
Okay.
Is it really considered cruel though if the cat's already dead?
I
It's
guess-
not like
I
he
guess it's
went
not-
and murdered the cat in
It's
order
not
to
cruel.
eat it. It's already dead.
Like where else was it gonna go after it died?
I guess it's not cruel,
Better
but
place, not your stomach.
it tells
What's
us
dead?
something
Like-
about the person.
Is there like a place where people like cherish the bodies of dead cats? I don't think so.
Like,
They do
you
it
know,
in
no
Egypt.
incarcerate it, bury
You
it,
could bury it,
not
yeah.
not eat it.
Yeah, well, like burying it, it's just eaten by other things, right? But it's so much more personal if it's eaten by you. It's like a sign of respect.
No,
Okay,
what?
listen, I want to move on to climate change now. I
Okay,
hate
let's
Ace.
move-
I
let's-
hate
let's move
Ace
on.
so much.
Yeah,
Out of
Ace, you
respect.
don't you own a cat? Like,
We're watching one right now, but like I wouldn't. I
Yeah,
don't-
okay, if that cat disappears, it's 100% Ace's fault.
all right,
no.
Ace
I
ate it. Ace
wouldn't-
ate it.
Like if it died, I wouldn't eat it. Okay, that's kind of weird because it's not actually my cat, and also I just don't want to eat a cat that I knew.
If it was
personally.
your cat,
If I still wouldn't eat it. But if like someone ate their cat, you know,
Good.
all right, it's their cat.
What if you were the cat? How would you feel? It's like
I'd
your
be
owner
dead. I
just
wouldn't
tells
care.
you.
I'm just dead.
No. Imagine this, right? You're the cat, right? And then your owner tells you, "Hey, cat, you know when you die, I'm gonna have a meal out of you." How would you feel?
You know, I'd hear like, I'd just like, meow and go eat food or something.
Okay. All right,
Like,
moving on to the
Look, Felix,
global
if
issue.
I had a cat, right, and then I died, and it ate me, all right, sure, I don't care.
Really?
Yeah, I don't care. Like, what am I gonna
Ugh.
do? What am I gonna do about it?
I'd wanna-
I can't do anything about it.
I'd want to be like, at least buried with a family member or something.
I really don't care about
Like
that.
like in at least in the same area. Like, not eaten by an animal.
Do you know Diogenes?
No.
He
No,
was
what is
this
that?
Greek
Sleeping
philosopher.
naked all the time.
Yeah. He had like
Lived in
no
a barrel.
clothes, lived in a barrel on the floor
oh
of this
yeah, we
market.
learned about him.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I know him.
So
then.
when he died, his wishes were to be left in the forest to hope that something could just eat him. And that's
Well,
what he
but
did.
he was also naked and lived in a barrel his whole life. So
Yeah, by choice.
yeah, So that says something about him as like he's the kind of guy who'd be chill if a mountain lion ate him after he died.
Yeah, so would I. Like, I'm dead.
Okay.
All right, moving on to the
Yep.
global issue.
We need to move on. I've been trying to move on for
Yeah. Holly,
5
can you
minutes.
present the global issue to us?
Okay, so climate change is always in the news, but it's been in the news recently again after the Italy's For Youth Climate Summit that happened on Tuesday. Basically, what happened was Greta Thunberg denounced the world's leaders, accusing politicians of failing to act on climate change and describing their promises as 30 years of blah, blah, blah. So basically, climate change at the moment is the defining issue of our time. And at this stage, we have reached a very important moment in the progression of climate change. The shifting weather patterns are threatening food production. The rising sea levels are increasing the risk of catastrophic flooding, and the impacts of climate change are global in scope and unprecedented in scale. Without any drastic action that we start to take, adapting to these impacts in the future will become more and more difficult and more expensive over time. Basically, what the UN did was they created an intergovernmental panel on climate change, and on a regular basis, these people meet and write reports in order to have an objective source of scientific information. The latest report found that Earth's climate in every region across the whole world is changing and is in danger. Many changes have been happening for thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. Some are irreversible, such as the continued sea levels rising. But the report also clearly states that the role of human influence is undisputed. It shows that human actions still have the potential to determine the future course of the climate, pointing to strong and sustained reductions in emissions of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases if we work to limit climate change. And there's a variety of ways you can fix it. There's UN frameworks in place, such as the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement, as well as regular climate action summits. But world leaders aren't doing as much as they can to help the world and society as a whole. And then there's some things that you can do as an individual in order to reduce climate change to some extent, but whether they're actually going to help impact what happens is questionable.
The prevailing arguments is that what if we do all this stuff to fix it, and it turns out we didn't do anything at all in the long run, but the solutions that people are proposing to try and fix climate change would make the world as a whole better. So, oh no, we just made the world better for no reason.
Yeah,
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of these solutions, such as switching to sustainable energy, it's not just for climate change, it's also for technological advancement. There's a lot of other side effects that are good that's coming out of developing this kind of technology, and so as a whole, there should be somewhat of a benefit, even if it doesn't do anything for climate change.
Yeah, I think it's good innovation and development.
Yeah.
It's not only just for climate change. I think climate change can be the motivation for this innovation.
Motivation for innovation.
Tagline. We should sell
Yeah.
it.
But the other thing is, I see a lot of things promoting people to do or change their lifestyle themselves, but in the grand scheme of things, there's not that many people that actually change their lifestyles, and these changed lifestyles themselves aren't doing an insane amount either. The impact
Yeah,
is very minuscule, and so
because
I
it's
think you continue.
sorry. I was about to say that it says something like the only 5% of corporations create 85% of emissions or something. So all of the advertisements that kind of frame this as a you should be doing better. You, the
Yeah,
individual
it's to
watching this.
direct the attention to
Yeah.
us and away
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah,
So
because it's
yeah.
not you eating an extra sandwich on the way to work that's causing the problem. It's them having professional standards that
Right.
just pump stuff into the atmosphere that isn't good for it.
So I think the better solution is, instead of when you're deciding to buy a car, right? Instead of thinking about whether you or not you should buy a car, you should be thinking, which company should I buy the car from? Because if enough people encourage like these more sustainable products, then naturally these companies that produce the sustainable products will become bigger, and it'll squash the companies we have right now that are, causing most of the pollution. So naturally, the best way to solve this problem is still by spending money, but it's a matter of whether or not you're spending the money in the right place.
Yeah.
Is there any
Anybody
other
else have-
opinions?
Do we just fix
And-
climate change?
I
We
think
just
we
fixed
did,
it,
you
guys. We should tell this to everybody.
Yeah.
There's
Um,
also this argument that says avoiding meat and dairy products is one of the biggest ways individuals can reduce their environmental impact on the planet. How accurate do you think that is?
I think
Well-
that's pretty accurate because a lot of
Yeah.
the land being taken up is specifically for farming, but there needs to be more development on like the artificial creation of meat, like where they can take out these cells and tissue from a cow and then grow it in a lab and it creates meat by itself.
And that's been done already. They just have to
Yeah.
make it affordable, right?
And well, it's been done, but it's not like super widely used yet.
Because it's expensive.
I don't know how much it costs. I know it's a lot faster than like making it using the actual cow.
Yeah, but like the process, you need a whole lab to do it, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's way more expensive than just having a cow.
Of course,
Well,
it's way more
It might.
expensive.
Well, cows cost a lot though. Like the
Well, it
feed,
yeah,
the
takes time, right?
years, and the
Because
like,
you
facilities.
need a lot of time and a ton of funding to even get this kind of tech started, so that it can get to a state where you can mass produce this lab grown meat. I think at that point it'll take too long.
This
Kind of
Uh,
agree with.
this website says the cost of beef cows is around $2,500 to $3,000 individually, with an average of $2,800 per cow.
Wow.
These.
Because it also takes like a. Do you ever watch that movie about like Cowspiracy, I think? And it said like it's like 50 gallons of water to make one burger, or 1 pound of a burger,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
something like that.
as well
It
as
takes so much water
all the
for
feed you have to do,
uh
and the antibiotics, and the employees, and
yeah,
the facilities, and the cleaning, and
and you have to take into account the land degradation as well.
Yeah, but like say if we change it all to like lab made beef, that will still require like a lot of resources to start it up. You have to build a lot
Yeah,
of
that's true.
infrastructure for it, and that'll cost even more to even get it up and running.
but it's like an investment because beef cows take like 2 years to fully mature until they're ready to be turned into beef, whereas this meat thing takes like 2 months.
It's
But
just
if we were
the
to go towards lab produced meat, how many farmers are you putting out of jobs? Because they don't usually have a degree in something else, because farming is their livelihood.
okay, but the transition is gonna be very slow, so
Yeah,
it's not gonna be
The
like all of a
transition is
sudden the
also going
farmers.
to be rough
Isn't
no
this
matter what.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
this
gonna be
called
rough no matter what, and
like
there's not that many
structural
farmers to begin
employment?
with.
And it's sooner rather than better, right? If we have to make the transition anyway, if the world is going to burn, we have to do the transition at some point, and it's better to do it now so that we
Yeah.
can maybe teach the
Yeah.
farmers how to
Well,
operate the new
most
machinery.
most farms are like very automated anyways. There's a ton of machinery working on it, so I don't think that many farmers will be losing their jobs. And even if they are, the government should be providing some sort of compensation for it.
they can teach the farmers how to make the lab-grown beef.
I think that'll be a bit advanced, but I mean, oh, sure.
Will that make beef much more cheaper then?
I think in the long run it will. Yeah.
At some point, yeah. Once you start mass producing it, I guess. But then you also have to take into account the amount of energy you're using compared to normal farms. Are you using less energy or more?
Well,
But I guess at
probably
that
more.
point, yeah, but I mean, at that point, right, we should have a lot more energy coming from sustainable sources, such as like solar energy. There's so much solar energy that we could be using,
Yeah.
and it's just getting wasted.
Well,
So
I
One of
think
the
I think if we do that, a lot of people will retaliate by saying that this entire process is unnatural, and that I know there's definitely going to be
oh yeah,
just
of
that
course.
group of people saying that it's unnatural and it goes against the ways of nature.
Well, what's going against the ways of nature is polluting the environment and creating global warming and all this other crap that you're already doing. And so if they
That's
really
it.
do care that much, why don't they just abandon this kind of urbanized lifestyle? And this is a small part of the life that they've chosen to live. I don't think it's that big of a deal. After all, they are eating the exact same stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
This has been the Gray Situations podcast. Thank you for tuning in and listening to our totally qualified advice and our thoughts on some solutions for things that might not happen, but also our discussion for solutions to things that are currently happening. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah.
If you want to learn more about this problem and find possible solutions that you can implement in your life, you can check out the links we put in the description below.